welcome to Bella working group meeting. We normally meet every other week on Tuesdays when we discuss the current development of bulk edit and list apps. Today, I would like present to you a quick overview of where we are with a quick overview of list application, a quick overview of bulk edit app. We have three presenters that will talk about their experience with bulk edit and list in their production environment. We have Jeanette Kalchik from Stanford University, Eustis from UMass, University of Massachusetts Amherst, and we have Lynne Fors online from Wellesley. We finished the meeting talking about the roadmap, what are the plans for the release that we are currently working on, which is Ramsons, and the next release, which is Sunflower. If you have questions, I will make sure we have time at the end of the meeting to answer any questions. So I think we are ready to start. I'm going to progress the presentation. So this is what we are going to cover. And we will start with list app overview.
Cool. Thank you, Magda. I'm Kathleen Moore. I'm product owner for the list app. So is anybody in this room not familiar with the list app? You want to raise your hand if you've not seen it or heard about it? Okay, so we've got a couple of hands. Awesome. Okay, so the list app is a new app as of the Poppy release that is within Folio, and it allows you to create and store lists of records. I'm going to go into it in just a minute and show off some of its primary features, just sort of in a quick demo to get an idea of what it does. One thing that I do want to call out is that it utilizes a query builder tool. This query builder tool consists of something that you might have heard called Folio Query Machine, or FQM. So this is the backend that powers it. We've got a number of APIs where you can submit requests, as well as a query builder UI component. And so this is the front end. And this tool together, it's used both in the list app as well as in bulk edit, and it's available for any other Folio app. So it is not just specific to our apps. It can be used elsewhere. So I'm going to do a quick demo. So I'm just going to log into Snapshot 2. Ooh. This is always my favorite. It's not normally in Spanish.
We can change.
Oh, what's the shortcut to do it?
There's no shortcut.
Oh, okay.
At least I don't know. Do we have a Spanish speaker?
Yes.
Oh, great. So I'm looking, I think this is it. And on this.
Do we need to change permanently?
No, we will change the language.
Oh, yes, the tenant.
Configuration level decision, I think this would be. And English. Let's do the American English.
Yes. So don't we load the screen?
It's good. We are good.
Magda, we have a request.
This is a very nice application, by the way.
All right, thank you both. So it looks like Snapshot 2 rebuilt since I added a couple of lists earlier today to use as some examples. So typically when you log into your folio and you come to the list app, what you're going to see is a variety of lists here that you or your colleagues have created if they're shared. We have the idea of a private list, which is, oh, we are not sharing the screen. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to move the Zoom tools back over to this window. It's okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new list real quick. And so when you're creating a new list, there are only two required fields. One is your list name. So let's go ahead and call this our sample list. And then the second is your record type. And so you can see right here, we have a variety of record types. So holdings, instances, items, loans, organizations, purchase order lines, and users. So one thing that I'll just note quickly on these record types. So like if I come into, we'll do instances, for example, and I build a query based on the instances record type. What you're going to see is this tool. And so this is the plugin that I was talking about that's shared that can be used in other apps if they're integrated, where you can choose fields. And here you can see we've got a variety of fields that come from instance records. Well, and it looks like in this environment, we do not have other fields, but I was going to show you. So this is one of the fun things about demoing in a always changing environment where there's development happening every day. So I'm just going to show you in this example. So we're going to do just a quick list based on instances where we have an instance status term that equals to cataloged. We're going to come in here and test this query. We're going to see here that we've got 4 results. If I wanted to, I could come in here and add another parameter to my query. So if I wanted to add an additional field or operator, I could do that. I also have the ability here on the show columns to change what I can see here. So for example, like this instance UUID that's not human readable, I don't want that. Maybe I do want languages or the mode of issuance to appear. And so what that'll do is it'll add columns for those fields. So here we can see we've got our languages and mode of issuance. Okay, so then once we've got this, we've got our matching result. Looks like, there we go. I'm going to click run query and save. And what that'll do is that'll create a list here. And this is a list that persists. It saves this set of records for you as of the time that you created it. So now that it's been created, so I've got my 4 records here that I can see. This list will maintain those 4 records unless you manually come in and say, rerun this query. It will, however, show updated information on the individual records. Just a couple of quick actions I want to highlight. So with your list of records, this refresh list here is how you would rerun the query and get it a fresh record set. You have the ability, as of the Ramsons release, you'll be able to export just the visible columns that you see here, or export all columns. That way, if you want more data, you have the ability to get it, or if you just want the smaller set, you can get it here. And then you also have the ability to duplicate your list or edit it if you want to come in and edit your query. So that was the very brief overview of the list app.
What's the difference between editing the query and rerunning? Will we do the same query? Edit is change the query and then run.
Correct. So if you come in real quickly, I'll just come in here and I'll edit the list. So if I wanted to change the list name description, maybe if I wanted to make it private, so it's only available to my particular login to Folio, or if I wanted to come in here and edit the query and say, I actually don't want catalog books or records, I want batch loaded. And I can come in here and change the query and save it.
So is there a plan for being able to edit the items in the list manually? I want this one gone.
Not currently. That is an idea that we have talked about, but we have not yet sort of figured out where that might fit into priorities. It's a great question.
Edit. Have no idea.
Yeah. Okay, so then I'll hand it back off to Magda.
I also have a question. Is there anyone in this group who never seen Bulk? Please don't be afraid.
Yeah, that's just running.
Okay, so I have a recording that you can review later, or I can do a quick demo. So we have more time for other presenters. Let me go back to the same environment Kathleen was using. And just we will navigate to Bulk Edit app. And here you can see the list of record types that we currently support. And you can start the bulk edit by either providing the list of identifiers, submitting the file with the list of identifiers, or building a query. This functionality has been added in Kesnelia release so those who are on earlier versions don't have access to it. In here, we are using the same component that Kathleen demonstrated. It is the same component that is in the list. We will create a simple query here, status. We will select the record. We will update the record. We will search for records that have status available. Right now, we are retrieving the records from FQM Folio querying machine to be stored within the bulk edit location. And similarly to list up, we have an option for selecting columns and starting bulk edit. Let's start bulk edit. Oops. This is downloading the files that matched our query. They can be saved in CSV format, but what I wanted to do was to click the Start Bulk Edit. And let's make here a few changes. We will add a node. I need to learn how to type. We will make it stop only. We will change status to unavailable and also suppress it from discovery. Before the changes are committed, user has a chance to review them right here. So we see that the records will be suppressed from discovery. There is a new node, and the node is staff only. and the status is unavailable. At this point, user can also download the preview of the records in CSV format. But for now, let's commit the changes. And the changes are committed. Again, the user can download the CSV file with the records, how they are updated. If they were errors occurred, then there will be additional accordion on the screen with the errors, and the errors could be downloaded as well. One more thing that I would like to bring to your attention is the logs tab. Right here, you can access the files that are generated during the bulk edit process. So for example, if we select item, and this is the job we have done right now, you click on the action menu, and you can see 4 files that were generated during the whole process. The files are being stored for 30 days. So in case you would like to revert the changes you made, you use the first file and you start the bulk edit process again, reverting the changes. That's it from a quick overview. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Jeanette, it's your turn now. Let me switch the slide. Oops.
Great, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Kathleen. So my name is Jeanette Kalchik. I'm the head of our data and e-resources control units at Stanford University. So we migrated on Nalana about a year ago and then upgraded to Poppy over the summer. So these are discussions on Nalana and Poppy. So how we use bulk edit is mainly before we migrated, we decided on a materials tracking workflow in which we add a temporary item location to items that are moving through technical services. So as items move through technical services, we check them in so we know where they are, but at the end, we have to remove all these temporary item locations. So our collection care unit will often and daily use bulk edit to remove these temporary item locations from the records. So that's our main use case. And as I said, we use it every day, multiple times a day. So other various projects that we have been bulk editing holdings locations for when certain chunks of items are being moved in special collections from one location to another, changing an item loan type. So we had migrated records that we realized we needed for circulation purposes, a different loan type. And we've also suppressed items and most recently added item notes. So we have various use cases for it other than just our primary one. One thing we haven't used is bulk edit for users. So you can bulk edit user information, but we just haven't found a use case for that yet. So also what Magda did with downloading the matched records is a kind of hack that Stanford regularly uses where we will search for the bulk edit, but then don't actually make a bulk edit, but download the matched records to get the data that it would provide. So title, call numbers, certain things like that. So then for lists, we're on Poppy and it's still not fully developed there. So we don't really use lists. We have one list currently for access services and they use it to find certain item statuses. We generally still rely on MetaDB and Tableau, but we're very excited for the potential of lists going forward. And so some of the challenges that we've come across is because a lot of people have access to bulk edit permissions, that we've had some oopsies. So people get creative, which in metadata, we obviously don't want people to get creative, but because they changed the temporary item location, they'll change the permanent item location and don't really realize you should change the holdings permanent location. So then we have to change all these data back. So that's one of the more recent complications we've had with it. Other complications we've encountered is making sure your file is correct. So obviously you need a certain CSV type, and we've had it where the CSV comma delimited doesn't actually fully process, or so we then have to go back to CSV UTF-8, but then it doesn't process the first barcode. So just making sure staff know all these issues that can occur. The other thing that can routinely happen is the record identifiers. So you could have an extra space, an extra line in your Excel file, and then you just get a record, an error is encountered. Or we have multiple test environments. So you get your UUIDs from your test environment and try to run it on production, and spoiler, it doesn't work. So, and then the last thing obviously is making sure if you're bulk editing holdings from a list of barcodes, that staff are very aware it will change the location for all the items underneath that holdings, unless you accidentally put in a permanent item location. Would not change that. So what we're looking forward to is the increased capabilities. So as I said, we're on copy, and we're very much looking forward to the query ability, to not have to use MetaDB to find all the information beforehand. We're also looking forward to the ability to edit the instance and mark records. So we already have a couple of projects in mind that we could do it through data export, update, and data import, but with 16,000 records, we would prefer to wait. So that's pretty much all our use cases. Okay.
Jennifer, I think you're next. Do you need help with setting up?
So I'm just gonna stop this share and share here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Jennifer Eustis. I'm going to, I'm working with 2 computers. So I don't know, hopefully, and doing a demo. Yay, go me. Hopefully this works. Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna do my full screen maps and see all the messages and crazy stuff.
We are.
Yep, there we go.
Oh yeah, we want to pull up Zoom on Magda's computer so that we can see it here. You can see it on right now.
It's appearing here though.
Just you can drag it. So
Oh, thank you. No.
This is.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
I think we will change this over here. Full screen.
All right. Thank you. So Magda helps with everything. Thank you, Magda. So yeah, again, Jennifer Eustis, UMass Amherst Libraries, part of the 5 Colleges Consortium. We are running a single tenant environment. Our production is Poppy, the latest CSP, who knows what that is, 18 or something. And our test is Quiznalia. So I'm going to show what I did in test and what did I do. So it turns out that Mount Holyoke had a bunch of materials from Lady Borton, and Lady is her first name, that they couldn't keep. So it had to be transferred to UMass Amherst. So for that transfer, we had to change the holdings location. We had to update the item status. We had to change the gift note. We also had to remove any notes, specific to Mount Holyoke in the instance. So there was a lot of work there. So yay, it involved bulk edit and list app, which is why I'm here. I hope you're excited as I am. I'm in somewhat finished, but hey, all right. Again, this is our test. How do I know it's test? We have a little yellow here. There we go. So first, to start this, we went into the list app. So this is Quiznalia, so it doesn't say list beta. In our production, because it's Poppy, it does have the beta after it. And I just want to create a new list going through the process. Yeah, thank you for timing me. WOLFcon meeting Morton. And here I'm going to do items. The reason I'm checking items is I want all the item records in addition to some holding and instance information. So I'm just going to build a query. This one's relatively, I shouldn't say easy, but location name equals, and now you get to see all of our locations. Sorry. Yes. I often click here because I want to type in MH. Unfortunately, I would love to have a little selector there. So if you want to see everything in Mass, you have to go all the way down here. Mount Holyoke is unfortunately sort of in the middle. And again, this is for 5 institutions. Oh, there we are. Now this is, I want everything in this location. So this is a query that just needs this one criteria. And there should be like 715 instances and 716 holdings and 898 items. Who's counting? And the good news is I can use my identifiers from production. Our test environment is a mirror of our production, so which is really, really nice. So here you can see it's mostly Vietnamese materials. She spent a lot of time in Vietnam. I can, as Magda showed and Kathleen, you know, I can check tons of things. I'm just gonna run the query. And I am in test, so fingers crossed. Our test is not provisions like production. 0 records found. Oh.
If you click on the green up top.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, okay, yay. You know, here, and this is what happened in production. So my colleague, Sarah Kohlengrazer, she exported the list and then emailed that to me where I got all the identifiers. I also did a double check just searching in inventory. And then we split up the list in between UUIDs for instances, holdings, and items. I normally use Notepad++ because then I can remove empty lines, remove any duplicates, and make sure that it's Unix kind of end of line, which is really nice. So it does that for me. Go Notepad++. But here also we can share, which Sarah didn't share it with me. That wasn't a statement. I think she just forgot. She emailed it to me. But anyway, so once you have that, let's see, did we download it? It's this one giant spreadsheet, and there you go. You can have fun and, you know, get all of this information. So then what we did, and I'll just do one, I'll just do holdings. I think it was HRD. All right. And I like this because you can drag and drop or just choose the file, which is really nice. And this is normally when I have a cup of tea. And this is a small one, but you know, larger ones, it's a cup of tea. And I can't see the chat right now, so I don't know if people are chatting away.
No questions.
Oh, excellent. I had so many questions when I did this project. Maybe I needed all of you for this. Again, you just start the bulk edit. It's going to be permanent holdings location. And yay, so this is W. So we're just moving it to general location at UMass. It used to be in general collection, in special collections at Mount Holyoke. So I'm going to confirm the changes. You know, it goes to the preview. Yay! Commit changes, yay! Well, yeah. Well, yeah, and this is test, everyone, so that's why I'm saying yay, because test is sometimes kind of just peters out, yeah. Hopefully not with this size, this is a small set, but it will take some time. Well, yeah, it's our test. It went very fast in our production environment. I don't know, I was having tea at the time, so it seemed fast. That is true.
It's also not sharing the screen.
Yeah, what's that? No. Not yet. Well, everyone, see, people are they answer themselves, so, all right. 7:16. Yeah, this might like not work, but not to fear. We can go back to, I can stop the demo. And normally this does work, so it is test, so sorry about that. But let me stop my share and I can go back to the presentation. Which is, where's presentation here? Is it on the desktop?
It looked like there might be some issues with diacritics in the exported file. Is there an encoding mismatch?
No, it worked in production. Yeah.
So those are your
Yeah.
slides.
Yeah.
This is what you want?
Okay. Yeah. Thank
Then
you,
need to
Magda.
share on Zoom again. Share the screen for the online.
Yeah.
people.
Can you do this?
I will do that. Thank you. I guess I'll share screens. All right. All right. So that's the demo. So we're just gonna, go forward. Thank you. So basically, for list app and even bulk edit, Access Service is a heavy user of these apps. So we use it to change user records, item records, in particular for our new bookshelf, which go on to a temporary location and then off the temporary location. The statuses change. For the list app, we use this a lot for finding patrons and that have stuff that still are checked out, as well as weird item statuses or missing. In metadata, we do, it goes to the holdings really. For permanent location, we do a lot of updates because UMass is in a tower. So we're constantly moving things from the 6th floor to the 7th floor to the 9th floor. Anyway, so we do a lot of changes of collections. We also send things off site. So that's good. So really it's item status holdings, item locations, and now notes, which we use heavily. That's my computer, which will not help you. It is a lifesaver. We're just beginning to investigate the list app, and I think part of my job with my colleagues that work on this is helping our colleagues understand the difference between bulk edit, list app, and LD Lite. So I think there's some confusion about what these tools can do. So once I get back, I'm going to have those meetings. Some of the challenges, again, people aren't aware of the list app. So that's why we're planning the information session. I think the ability to search across record types, we're still waiting for that. People love to do that. So they're like, why can't I do this? I'm like, well, and of course you've heard this from me before. I want to search items and holdings that only fall within the search criteria. I know it's one of my pet peeves, but anyway, here it is, yay. Bulk edit is, I think, used by so many and it can be damaging. So we're not quite sure like how people are using it really. We just, faith that they do the right thing. Generally it's been okay. If they do something, they're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Then we just reverse it and move on. No harm foul, no harm done. And now it is Wellesley.
All right, can everybody hear me?
Enable. Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
But we don't hear you.
Oh,
And that may probably different your volume up. My volume, it's max.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. The room is not going to hear you.
Oh dear.
Let me check the audio here. If anyone has any experience with changing the sound to those.
Zoom, right?
Yes.
Drop down. Select the speaker.
Select this one.
Yeah. Let's see. Does that work?
Lynn, can you try now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. Hi, I'm Lynne Fors. I'm at Wellesley College in Massachusetts. I'm about, a couple hundred miles away from where Jennifer is at UMass Amherst. It's currently 11 o'clock in the morning, so this is great. I've been up since 6. We are also using bulk edit in the list app. Currently, for bulk edit, we're doing a lot of transformations for item statuses, holdings and item locations, and we've briefly experimented with adding item notes, and it's all worked out really well. We are also in an experimental phase with the list app since we're on Poppy and it's still in beta. So we've haven't really opened it up to the rest of the staff. Technical services has been playing around with it to see how we can create useful lists for our colleagues. Like Jennifer, bulk edit has been a lifesaver this year. We have a major library renovation that is going on. We had to move everything out of our main library in December, and we've been in a temporary remote library location on campus since January. So all of our collections that were in the main library are now in storage. So we did this on Orchid, not Poppy. So our experiences in Poppy are different from Orchid. So basically speaking about what our experiences with Orchid and bulk edit. So we had to update holdings and item locations for about 500,000 records total for both item and holdings records. It took about 4 days in our production environment. And we timed it, and we were averaging about 300 to 375 records changed per minute. The biggest problem we had was figuring out the time, like why it was really slow, and then we couldn't figure out why, and it was because our file sizes were too big, even though 100,000 records is the maximum amount of identifiers you can query using bulk edit. We found that it was way too big, and it would take 6 hours for bulk edit to query the database and add, move it to its temporary working location in bulk edit, and then move on to the next step, which is select all the changes you needed to make. It would be an all-day process just to do one file. So we had some experimentation with optimizing our file sizes. And so that was very frustrating. We did have some lists that errored out in the middle of the update, and the systems librarian here at Wellesley, Cara Hart, and I were both working on this, and we were at least able to figure out from the error logs sort of where the error happened, and then generate a new file from the error log in our original kickoff file to grab the rows that did not complete and then run those separately. We do have LDP at our institution, so we did use LDP very heavily to get lists of identifiers for records that needed to be updated, and to figure out which locations needed to go into specific temporary locations, because we had several that were going to different places. And there was a challenge involved with that because LDP is a snapshot of the data that was in Folio at the end of the previous day, because the data gets loaded into the tables overnight. So we had to clean up some items that were reserve items that were going on course reserves that were in the middle of being processed. So that data was out of sync. So luckily it wasn't hundreds of thousands of titles. It's just, less than 100 that we had to deal with. So that was great. Let's see. The lists app, what we've done is create a separate in-transit list for each of our branch libraries. And we've just started it, and we're just starting to test it out because the built-in report in, I think it's an inventory, you can get it in transit items list, and it has everything all smushed together. And so you have to do some data manipulation usually in Excel to separate. These are the ones that are in transit to their home location, which is a different library, and we had to organize it by library. But this way we could go, give me all the items that are in transit to the art library and stick all of those in one location. Give me all the ones that are going to music and stick those into one list. And then all the ones that go to our CLAP home library, they go in a separate list. So each of the libraries can manage their own in-transit items, which helps them figure out, did it make it over to the correct library? Did it get on the shelf and it just didn't get checked back in at circulation? Or is it still missing, or is it lost somewhere else? It helps us keep track of what's going on, and each library can manage their own collections. Next slide. Thank you for driving. So challenges we've encountered, obviously, the number record issue. Large batch records can take a really long time to run through the process because it's a two-step process. So we've tried a bunch of different file sizes, and we found our sweet spot to be about 50,000 records at a time, where it was a reasonable amount of waiting time that we didn't feel like we were just sitting here staring at a computer screen babysitting it forever. But we do have a lot of cups of tea and coffee, and we get up and we walk away and go do something else and come back and check on other colleagues, see if they need any help with anything. We did have some issues with the different file types for CSV. UTF-8 CSV files didn't really work for us. They kept throwing errors, so we had to make sure we used the the regular CSV file type in order for everything to process properly. We're not really sure why. It just seems to be a quirk. For the list app, most of our staff aren't really aware of it as a tool. We're planning, like Jennifer, informational open house sessions to show what you can do with it since it's coming out of beta in Cornelia. We're getting our dry run test environment soonish, so we're hoping to be able to show the new well, not necessarily interface, but all the new options that are available in Cornelia, and show them basically how it could be useful to helping them with their work. The only caveat is that there are missing data segments from the item lists, such as volume and numeration and chronology. So it's a little frustrating if you're trying to do lists and it's a multi-volume set and you just have different barcodes, but you aren't sure exactly what's going on. So I think that is going to be in a future enhancement in the list app. So we're very excited about that. And that has been our experience thus far. Currently in Poppy, things are moving much faster than they were in Orchid. So we are not doing huge batches of item changes or record changes. So we will have more to report back when we have to move everything back into our home library, hopefully next summer. So we should be hopefully on Ramsons at that time, so we can provide a progress update at that point. And I'm finished.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.
I feel that I have to address a couple of issues that were brought up by those who were presenting. First, the issue with the list of identifiers that you are submitting that is very sensitive right now. We have in our backlog story to work on making it more robust and make it more robust. So you don't need to spend a lot of time on preparing of those files. However, for the long run, I believe that the option of identifiers will be replaced by you using the query tool. The query tool is much more flexible. You can build the queries for your use case, Jennifer, when you want to get the items that match your criteria. This is the place to go. You are getting the data from FQM, the correct data FQM. When it comes to the production performance, performance is always very high on our list, and with every release, we are addressing performance issues. What Lynne was reporting was done on Orchid, which is several releases back to where we are now. In Poppy, we did the total re-architecturing of the bulk edit application to speed it up. It should be faster, but with every release, we spend a significant part of the development time on performance. Obviously, as always, please send your feedback to us and send it as quickly as you can, as early as you can, because early feedback is a good feedback. It's a feedback that we can address within one release, so that you don't need to go to drinking a lot of tea, even though tea is good for you. We are almost at the end of our allocated time. We have one slide with roadmap, what is planned for bulk edit and list out. So I say a couple of sentences about bulk edit. Right now, I think the highlights of Ramson's release is that we ventured into bulk editing of MARC records. We're starting small. We are starting with nodes fields, which is 500 and 900. We treated it as a proof of concept. so that you can again provide the feedback. And in the Ramsons Sunflower release that is next, we will open the functionality to all non-controlled MARC fields. So that's it. If you are interested about the details, please feel free to reach out to me, Kathleen.
Yep, I'll give you a real quick overview of what we've added for the list app in Ramsons. So the list app in particular, we've added quite a bit in Ramsons. One of the main things is we've added some support for ECS, or the Enhanced Consortium report. And so you're able to do cross-tenant queries specifically for instances, holdings, or item records. We do not support it for any other record type as of the Ramsons release. We've also added the ability to set permissions per record type in the app. And those are based on permissions that a user would typically have for their other workflows. That way you can sort of more closely control who has access to what data. In Ramsons, we've also added quite a bit more support for additional fields within our existing record types. In Sunflower, we're planning to expand that even further. I think one of the most exciting things that we're looking at is some of the infrastructure that we've built in Ramsons will allow us in Sunflower to allow users to be able to combine records and make joins of their own. We're also hoping to get some circulation coverage, which we don't currently have much of. And then we're hoping to start on MARC bibliographic records as well. And you're more than welcome to come see me or ask if you have questions about any of the specifics on that.
I think this is our last slide. And I think the last was for questions. Yeah, and we are out of